Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a parent, you're probably totally fed up with the absolute maze of conflicting pediatric advice you see online every single day. You've probably heard completely opposite opinions about vitamin D, right? Well, today we're going to cut through the noise and break down exactly what the science actually says.
Section 1. The vitamin D confusion.
Does your child really need vitamin D? I mean, you're probably asking yourself this exact question after doom scrolling through dozens of contradictory opinions on social media. The truth is, vitamin D is probably one of the most misunderstood nutrients in modern medicine. There are so many myths swirling around out there.
It seems like the advice always falls into two extreme camps. On one hand, you're told every single child needs a daily supplement, no exceptions. On the other hand, you hear that sunlight solves absolutely everything. So who's actually right? Well, in this explainer, we're leaving the opinions at the door and relying strictly on evidence-based truth.
Section 2. The science of sun exposure.
To separate fact from fiction, we've first got to look at how the human body interacts with the sun. Vitamin D is kind of wild because it's fundamentally different from almost every other vitamin. Most vitamins only come from the food we eat, but vitamin D, your skin actually acts like a tiny factory. When it's exposed to ultraviolet B, or UVB, rays from sunlight, your body literally begins manufacturing vitamin D naturally.
But here's the catch. Our modern, mostly indoor lifestyles limit that exposure. Add in long, freezing winters in places like North America or Europe, and the sunlight just isn't strong enough. But wait, deficiency isn't automatic. As you can see, your body's production depends on a highly complex mix of variables, like skin color, the season, where you live, diet, and age. It's really like a giant puzzle.
And to really grasp this puzzle, we have to talk about melanin. Melanin is a natural skin pigment, and it's a brilliant evolutionary adaptation. It provides incredible protection against ultraviolet light. But because it protects the skin so well, it actually slows down vitamin D production. This means people with darker skin require a bit more time in the sun to produce the exact same amount of vitamin D as someone with lighter skin.
This perfectly illustrates why there is absolutely no universal rule here. Just think about it. A fair-skinned child building sandcastles in sunny Florida has completely different physiological needs than a dark-skinned child navigating a tough winter up in northern Canada. Personal geography and natural adaptations dictate what you need, not some random internet advice.
Section 3. Fat-checking deficiency symptoms.
Now, what's really interesting about this next section is how fast we can bust some massive online myths. Because your body stores vitamin D, deficiency develops gradually, over weeks or even months. So, a sweaty head on your baby? Please know that this is super common and absolutely not a reliable sign of low vitamin D.
And the exact same goes for sweaty feet. Completely normal in healthy children. This happens for dozens of entirely unrelated reasons and does not automatically point to a nutrient deficiency.
What about poor sleep or just general irritability? Still not a reliable sign. I know social media loves to tell parents that almost any unusual symptom is caused by low vitamin D, but modern medicine simply does not work that way. The absolute most crucial point here is this. Doctors do not diagnose vitamin D deficiency simply by looking at a child. Evidence has to come before assumptions. If you have a genuine concern, actual laboratory testing is required before you start any sort of heavy treatment.
Section 4. Breast milk versus formula.
Okay, let's talk infant diets because parents ask about this all the time. While breast milk is the absolute ideal food in countless ways, it naturally contains pretty low amounts of vitamin D. Because of this, guidelines in the US and Canada recommend supplementation for most exclusively breastfed babies. On the flip side, modern formulas are artificially fortified, meaning formula-fed babies are usually getting enough simply through their daily bottles. Section 5. Balancing safety and supplementation. Next, we really need to tackle the delicate balance between getting enough nutrients and protecting your child from harm. You might be thinking, well, why not just put them in the sun more? It's not quite that simple. Excessive sun exposure increases the risk of skin damage and cancer later in life. Pediatricians want you to balance safe outdoor activity with proper sun protection. You don't need hours of intense sunlight or tanning to stimulate healthy vitamin D production.
And when it comes to supplements, this quote really hits the nail on the head. More is not always better. It is so tempting to guess, right? To assume that if one drop is good, 2 or 3 must be amazing.
Actually, scratch that. It's really dangerous. Because vitamin D regulates calcium in the body, giving your child too much can overregulate that calcium and cause serious long-term health problems.
You should always follow medical recommendations, never a hunch. Section 6. 5 key takeaways.
To wrap up this explainer, let's quickly summarize. 1. Production is natural but heavily depends on variables like melanin and geography. 2. Completely ignore the online myths about symptoms. They're just unreliable. 3. If you're exclusively breastfeeding, you'll generally need supplement drops. 4. Always balance sun safety to protect against UV damage. And 5. Never, ever exceed recommended supplement doses.
Look, vitamin D is absolutely crucial, but it isn't magic, and it definitely shouldn't be a source of constant parental anxiety. Medicine is always most effective when it's based on science, not fear. So I'll leave you with this final thought. How will you apply this empowering, fact-based evidence to your own parenting journey moving forward?